Hi, I'm Dr. Patrick Andersen of Madison Maximize Living. Do you feel inundated and confused by all the commercials and information available in healthcare today? Are you craving safe, natural methods to build your health? Watch our show on Natural Healthcare News on Maximize Living, coming up next.
Welcome back to Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen. We're talking natural healthcare news today. We've got some news articles to share with you that we found. This one I really like. This is from Fox News, but it's called Put Your Phone Away, an Addict's Guide to Unplugging. And it really talks about how social media addiction seems to have a lot of the symptoms of addictions to things like drugs and alcohol, because when you post something to social media, if you get a positive social feedback like likes or comments, it activates the same centers in your brain that those drugs do. Mm-hmm. So it becomes addicting, and it says that people are spending more and more time on their phones. It says 90% of U.S. college students have experienced phantom phone vibration syndrome. Have you ever had that happen where you swear you heard your phone ring, you swear you did, or you heard the chime?
Or you felt it vibrate.
Yeah, and it didn't. Those are all symptoms that you might have some issues with this. It just says, put your phone in airplane mode for an hour a day.
That's a good way to unplug.
Step away from it, or use your social media only at your desk, so you're very conscious about when you're stopping and starting. Set a timer during your web browsing sessions so you can consciously stop and not just have your whole afternoon eaten away.
It's a great tool, but people spend so much time on it. I wonder what the average is. 3 hours a day?
Yeah, they say 2 to 4 hours a day. Americans spend 2 to 4 hours a day per day on their smartphones.
Wow.
So that's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Well, I've got an article here from naturalnews.com, horrible things that happen to your body if you use vegetable oil regularly.
Oh boy.
And it's quite interesting. For years we've been told that vegetable oils are healthy, but don't let the word vegetable fool you. Research shows that vegetable oils are bad for your health. And one of the things that make these oils harmful is their composition of fatty acids. They have high amounts of omega-6 fatty acids. These are the bad fatty acids. We want omega-3s, the fish oil types. And so they ruin your fatty acid competition in your body cells. And we should have a 4-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. And many people are on the average in America, it's like 20-to-1.
Oh my gosh.
So vegetable oils cause inflammation. They increase risk of cardiovascular disease. It says here vegetable oils contain trans fats, and we've heard a lot about those.
Right.
They can cause asthma and eczema in kids, a higher risk of cancer, and cause even severe depression when your omega-6, omega-3 ratio is off. So, wow. There's only several good oils. It's olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, grapeseed oil, butter. Those are the healthier oils. All the others, you think corn oil would be good, or safflower oil, or cottonseed oil, they're high in omega-6s and they're inflammatory.
So you really want to avoid those. Speaking of oils, fish oil during pregnancy may cut kids' asthma risk. This is coming from medicinenet.com. It's saying that women who take fish oil during their 3rd trimester pregnancy might cut their children's risk of developing asthma by as much as a 1/3. But it does say here that pregnant women should talk to their doctors about whether they need more. But the study is encouraging.
Mm-hmm. And it's also interesting, I saw where women who were pregnant that took omega-3s actually had more intelligent children. Oh. If you think of a high concentration of omega-3s in the brain, want to make sure there's plenty of that. And it's a pretty major deficiency that we have in this country.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. An easy thing you can do, too.
Well, the next one I have is, are you getting enough magnesium? 13 signs you're deficient in magnesium. And it's the 4th most, this is from Dr. William Cade. And he says it's the fourth most common abundant mineral in the body, but 50 to 90% of people are deficient in magnesium. So how do you know if you're deficient? Muscle cramps and spasms, low thyroid, trouble sleeping, adrenal fatigue, poor memory, migraines. They found that increasing magnesium helped with migraines. And then as well, heart problems, inflammation, ADHD, insulin resistance, weak bones, and asthma. So the things that have a lot of magnesium food-wise are spinach, Swiss chard, dark chocolate.
Well,
we're good with
that's a good
that.
one.
Pumpkin seeds, almonds, black beans, avocado, salmon, kefir, figs, bananas. So those are high in magnesium, and do be more aware that this is a very large-scale deficiency in our society.
So definitely might want to add those to your diet. Well, stay with us. We'll have more natural healthcare news right after the break. Have your questions for Dr. Pat answered on an episode of Maximize Living. Send your email to drpat@wi57.tv. Welcome back to Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen. We're talking about natural healthcare news today. We've got some news to share with you that we've gathered from around the web. This is from naturalnews.com. It's about beets. How beets can really benefit you in so many ways, and who really would? I never really think about eating beets, but you might want to after this. It says they could reduce the risk of heart disease, improve your blood pressure, give you more stamina, better brain function, clean your liver, better ability to fight chronic diseases, more fiber content. It sounds like beets are the way to go.
Beets are hard to beat. I had a bad experience with beets though when I was a little kid.
You did?
The beets were red and the juice dripped into my potatoes, and I was eating pink potatoes. It wasn't very appetizing.
Oh.
But I think I'm over it now with this. Thanks for that study. I'm going to
You can eat
start
girly
imbibing
potatoes
beets
now.
again.
Pink potatoes.
Pink potatoes. No, I don't know if I can go there yet. But well, here's one that I think you find interesting with all the marijuana laws legalizing throughout the country. Dr. Amen did a study. This is from medicine.net. And Dr. Amen has a number of clinics where he does SPECT scans on the brain. And he found that there was a significant reduction of brain blood flow happening to patients who had marijuana frequently.
Wow.
It significantly reduced the blood flow, especially to an area of the brain called the hippocampus. And that would affect long-term memory and emotions. So it was a pretty significant study, and right now 26 states now have laws legalizing it, or working on it in some form. And but there's caution there because there are concerns with what it does. I know it affects frontal lobe development. I've heard that before, where it can retard the frontal lobe and the emotional development.
Wow.
So it's not as innocuous as we may think. So more and more needs to be studied on that.
I want to use some caution there. And then this one is about smoking, too, smoking cigarettes. This is from USA Today. Smoke just a little, it says, it'll still kill you. They reported that the Journal of JAMA Internal Medicine said that there's no safe level of exposure to tobacco smoke. It reports that smoking is the top cause of preventable death in the U.S. It kills nearly 500,000 Americans every year. So there's just no safe level. You can't just say I'm just gonna smoke a cigarette on the weekend or something like that. It's still not the way to go.
It's like trying to eat one Dorito, I suppose. You want to keep eating once you
Yeah.
start. Easier just not to have it, I suppose. So just kudos to all those that have given up smoking. It's one of the best health steps you can do. And what's really interesting is when people do quit smoking, often later someone will ask them, do you miss it? No, it stinks. I can't stand the taste of it.
Yeah, I've heard people say that too.
You know, so that's fascinating. And much the same with junk food. You get off junk food, you don't really want to eat it anymore. So I have a study here, 3 super berries that cause cancer cells to self-destruct. This is from a group called The Truth About Cancer. And so they studied a number of berries to see what ones caused cancer cell apoptosis. Apoptosis is a self-destruction of a cell. Very important because cancer cells don't destruct very well. They tend to live on and live on. And so what they found was that they studied 6 berries: blackberry, black raspberry, blueberry, cranberry, red raspberry, and strawberry for their ability to stimulate apoptosis. And they found that strawberries and black raspberries were very effective in killing cancer cells.
Wow.
And I know the same group has said it's hard to find a fruit or vegetable that doesn't have anti-cancer properties.
Wow.
Now, that's not saying don't follow your medical advice, but hey, if you can do things nutritionally that help your body function better, I'm all for it.
Yeah, stick to those fruits and vegetables, and berries are delicious. So yeah.
You know, the other thing about berries is they're low glycemic, which means they don't break down into sugar very quickly, which is a big concern. We want to reduce our sugar because it drives inflammation and quite a health issue. But the berries also don't break down into sugar. So that's good. You can eat a lot of berries, you don't get the same concern with eating like other fruit like bananas or things like that, or pineapple. It's higher in sugar content.
They're a good fruit choice to have. Well, stay with us. We'll have more on natural healthcare news right after the break. Have your questions for Dr. Pat answered on an episode of Maximize Living. Send your email to drpat@wi57.tv. Welcome back to Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen. We're talking about natural healthcare news today, and we're sharing some news with you from around the web. This is from No Ridge Science Report. It talks about almonds and says that they may be the next superfood. I had, for some reason, thought, were some nuts already considered superfoods? Is almonds just kind of a new one?
Well, you know, there's a number of them. Walnuts are hard to beat. Pecans are hard to beat. There's just such amazing qualities with those nuts.
So there sounds like they're adding almonds to this list. They contain high levels of the amino acid arginine, which is a critical substance for blood pressure regulation. And it also increases the total amount of body fat loss. Your blood pressure is doing better. It sounds like almonds are really good for those types of things. Has a wide,
good in protein. And of course, anything natural has things we don't even know about in there that are good for us. We just haven't discovered it yet. So it's a great snack to have around. I would recommend anyone in their office or around the house have a bag of almonds and grab a handful whenever you get a little hungry. Keep your blood sugar level with a good protein level and good fat content, healthy fat content. So they're very stimulatory to the body.
Great snack option.
I've got one from Forbes magazine. It's 7 Ways Sleep Affects the Brain and what happens if it doesn't get enough sleep. The RAND research group came out with a 100-page analysis of how sleep affects us and what sleep deprivation can do to us. And it says the U.S. alone costs us $411 billion a year due to repercussions from low sleep, including injuries and issues from that. So sleep helps solidify your memory. So when you get enough sleep, which is, you know, running around 7 hours, people under 6, people over 8 have issues often. It helps consolidate your memory, solidifies your memory, which is very, very important. And it makes connections and holds on to those important decisions and memories. It's associated with clearing toxins in your sleep. You get enough sleep, including the toxins with Alzheimer's. So it improves lymphatic drainage of the brain if you get enough sleep. It's necessary for cognition, so you can affect your ability to multitask. In fact, if you don't have enough sleep, or if you're on sleeping pills, there's a higher incident of people getting in car accidents.
I believe it.
Driving a car multitasking. You know, people have a phone and they're multitasking and driving a car.
They do, yeah.
But you can't multitask as well when you're sleep deprived. Creativity is reduced when you're not getting enough sleep. And interesting, sleep loss and depression are closely intertwined. When people don't get good quality sleep, they're much more likely to have depression issues. So physical health and longevity, you live better with regular sleep, live longer. Weight loss, if you don't sleep well, obesity is more likely. And one thing to keep in mind too is that kids need more sleep because of a growing brain. They're growing, and the brain needs that sleep to grow healthily. So again, 6 to 8 hours. Less than 6 is hard on your health, and more than 8 tends to be hard on the health.
Yeah, and people too, I think, tend to think that I want to get more done. There's not enough time in the day. You know, I'm just gonna, where do they cut it out? They cut it out of sleeping or not going to the gym.
Yeah.
You know, and those are some of the worst things that you can do. Look at all the things that have come from not sleeping enough.
And 1/3 of all people don't sleep well on any given night. So learning good sleep hygiene, we have a show on YouTube, the show Maximize Living with Patrick Andersen is on YouTube, and they can watch our sleep show where we go through all the things on sleep hygiene. But sleep is a requirement, and you're going to perform better. And often when we push it too hard, we don't get as much done.
No, you think you are, but it's not. Yeah,
Creativity
the quality
goes
is not
out the
there.
window.
Yeah, your creativity's gone. Maybe even feeling depressed. So stay with us. We'll have more natural health care news right after the break. Have your questions for Dr. Pat answered on an episode of Maximize Living. Send your email to drpat@wi57.tv. Welcome back to Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen. We're talking natural health care news today. This comes from the New York Times. It says that a study tied to the food industry tries to discredit sugar guidelines. It said, the study said that warnings to cut sugar are based on weak evidence and can't be trusted. However, it quickly elicited sharp criticism from public health experts because the study apparently had ties to the food and sugar industry. So you have to be really careful about where your studies are coming from.
It's really a shame. I hear of ghost studies where studies actually written by somebody, by the company, and then they find an author to sign their name to it.
Oh, really?
So the first thing I would want to know is who sponsored the study, because not all studies are published. So if you've got 10 studies that are bad and 2 studies that are good for something, they may just publish the good findings. So publish all trials as a movement so that all studies and trials are published so we can get a full picture, just not the favorable ones.
Right.
So that's a concern. I've got a real interesting article here. We all understand antibiotics and their use and antibiotic resistance and superbugs that are coming. Well, this article, most powerful natural antibiotic for killing infections, comes from naturalhealthcarenews.com, and they've got a recipe in here I thought was interesting to have this, a tablespoon of this every day. So you take a 1/4 cup of chopped garlic, 3 cups of apple cider vinegar. You can't go wrong with apple cider vinegar hardly. A 1/4 cup of chopped onions, 2 fresh red peppers, a 1/4 cup of grated ginger. All sound healthy so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what else? We have 2 tablespoons of grated horseradish, 3 tablespoons of honey, and of course the venerable 2 tablespoons of turmeric. You mix it all together, and then you put it in a jar, and you add the apple cider vinegar. You cover it for 2 weeks, and then you start having a tablespoon a day. And they said it's powerful antibiotic.
Wow, so you could make your own.
Well,
kind of.
It's natural, and it's not pharmaceutical grade.
Yeah.
But why not use things that are natural that fight infections?
Wow, interesting.
And boost your immunity. And some of the other things they mentioned that are helpful in antibiotic properties, boosting them in your body: grapefruit seed extract, honey, garlic, cinnamon, eucalyptus, and ginger. And all of those are healthy, natural products. Have so many chemicals and ingredients that many we don't even understand yet that are helpful for our health.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's the first time I'd heard anything like that. And a lot of those things too are like more powerful tasting, more potent tasting things too. And I wonder if that's like some sort of link to that.
Yeah.
You know, interesting.
So here's one for you. Try a spoon of honey and sprinkle a bunch of cinnamon on it, and you're boosting your system. So getting more cinnamon in your body is a good idea. And here's one on teas as a superfood from Amber Bodilli. And we've heard of drinking tea, but there's so many different kinds of teas that have good effects on your body. There's teas that help you with frustration, anxiety, like chamomile, chrysanthemum teas. Teas if you're burnout. Lemon balm as a powerful antiviral tea.
Wow.
Nettle, licorice root tea, red raspberry leaf tea. So try a lot of different kinds of teas. Peppermint tea has been shown to help in detoxifying, and it's good for irritable bowel. Try these things. They're safe, effective, and low cost.
Yeah.
For infectious issues, too, echinacea, peppermint, ginger, turmeric tea. You can look at detox teas. So it's a whole other area that, I'd look at teas like this as the new superfoods, and find ones you like, and maybe the British have something right, having their cup of tea in the afternoon.
So add some tea and some almonds to your diet.
There you go.
Stay with us. We'll have more natural healthcare news right after the break. Have your questions for Dr. Pat answered on an episode of Maximize Living. Send your email to drpat@wi57.tv.
Thank you for watching our show on Natural Healthcare News. Be sure to consult with your doctor on any of your healthcare issues. In almost every health issue, better fitness, better nutrition, better thinking, less toxins, and a sound structured nervous system will enhance your health. One of the best decisions you can make is to have your spine and nervous system checked by a chiropractor. Please give our office a call at 608-833-1282 for a checkup. For Maximize Living, I'm Dr. Patrick Andersen. Until next time, live well and God bless.
Have your questions for Dr. Pat answered on an episode of Maximize Living. Send your email to drpat@wi57.tv.